Your morning news, presented by Chevrolet and your local Chevy dealers.
Good morning. Thanks so much for starting your day with us. Glad you're here. We have special live team coverage for you throughout the morning of the Howard Frankland Bridge opening. I'm Georgia Roman.
And before we navigate all that and a look at your weather, I'm Roy DeJesus, and this is your Spectrum News in 90. The new span of the Howard Frankland Bridge is officially open. Drivers heading southbound to St. Pete from Tampa will be directed to use the new lanes today and from here on out. There is signage there to help drivers. The express lanes will not open up today. You can expect that to happen sometime next year. And here's a live look again. Drivers headed northbound from St. Pete to Tampa will not see any changes just yet either.
Pinellas County is asking its residents how hundreds of millions of dollars should be spent on hurricane recovery. The city was recently awarded more than $800 million from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. The money has to be used to help homes, businesses, people with rent, and fixing damage. Residents can take a survey online and attend public meetings. They start next month.
State lawmakers are moving forward a bill that could change safety measures in schools. The bill would let schools have more leeway when it comes to lockdowns and fund a database that tracks campus maps and panic alarms. The bill advanced through committee yesterday with unanimous votes.
Now let's head over to the Weather Center. Check in live with meteorologist Julie Marquez this morning, who has the latest on our forecast. It's a little muggy to start.
It is. You know, it's warmer, more humid today, but the rain we had last night in some spots is gone for now, and the rain chances are going to be on the low side today. This pretty view brought to you by Manatee Health in Bradenton, where it is 67 degrees. Dew point up into the 60s and light winds, but you can see it's clearer here in this part of the Bay Area. Northern areas have been dealing with fog, so be careful this morning near Brooksville, Inverness, and even Wesley Chapel, Land O'Lakes, because there will be some patches of fog for your morning drive. Temperatures are certainly warm for the kids waiting at the bus stop this morning. We have some fog and some clouds, but we'll get some afternoon sunshine and a small rain chance as we climb to 80 degrees. I'm back with an update from Clystra on 9. Back to you.
Top story this morning, a live look from our Sky 9 cameras of the long-awaited new span of the Howard Frankland Bridge, officially open to drivers now. I use the new span of the bridge to get from Tampa to St. Pete on my way to work this morning, and it definitely is a new view, new for drivers out there.
Yeah, and this has been a project years in the making. Today we're seeing the first big part of it all come together. There's still more to come. We have team coverage for you this morning. Our traffic expert Tim Ronka is out in the field sharing what drivers need to know as they head out. Our Jason Lanning is going to tell us what's next for the entire project because it's not done yet. We're going to start with our Tim Ronka, who is live looking out over the new bridge. Tim, it's a big day, and so far, so good.
So far, so good, Georgia. Yeah, very exciting day here in Tampa Bay. You know, we've all over the last 5 years driven over the Howard Frankland Bridge, maybe looked out over to the left or right to see how the new one was coming along. So you got to see that project come along in real time. And now today is the day on this Tuesday morning. Now at about 5:30 this morning, FDOT confirmed with me that all lanes are opened up, and I've been out here for the last few hours keeping an eye on things, and so far it looks like a pretty smooth drive. Let's go over to Sky 9. They are still over above for us, and they've been keeping an eye on the traffic. It's busy out there now on the bridge. It is now, post 7 o'clock. This is when things really pick up with rush hour, but I'm not seeing any major delays, and that is part of the idea of this new bridge, is to help move that traffic by better, especially once those express lanes opened up. Those are not opened up this morning. That will be probably sometime early next year when the express lanes begin. The other thing to keep in mind is that this is just a southbound change this morning. So this is for folks heading from Tampa into St. Petersburg. It is not a change on the northbound side. That is going to stay the same again until later on this year. So far, so good on the bridge. A lot to be looking out for this morning. Just a reminder from FDOT and FHP that they want you to use caution as you navigate this bridge for the first time this morning. They don't want you taking pictures or anything like that while you're driving. They just want you to get across the bridge okay. But so far, so good here on this Tuesday morning, and we'll have much more for you coming up in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Tim, and more on what Tim just mentioned here. The future of the bridge, it's going to be another few more months going from Tampa to St. Pete to see those changes.
Yeah, eventually the current northbound bridge is not even going to be there anymore, but that's next year. Let's continue our team coverage with our Jason Lanning, giving us a timeline of what we can expect here. Obviously, this is a big day, Jason, but there's still a lot that's going to be happening behind the scenes.
There is, Georgia and Roy. We are just east of the airport exit along 275, where traffic will get onto this new span of the bridge to head south into St. Petersburg. This is where you'll want to start paying attention to signage for all of those changes Tim just talked about. Just because the new southbound span of the bridge is open does not mean construction is over. In fact, far from it. FDOT will keep working on the old southbound span so it can reopen as the northbound bridge later this year. FDOT says components of that bridge will be strengthened to extend the life of the bridge while construction continues.
So we're just going in and really rehabbing and maintaining some of the components of the bridge. A lot of the expansion joints. These are technical terms, I know, but you know the bridge needs to move and grow and flex with temperature. And some of those areas of the bridge, we're going to freshen them up and make sure they're functioning properly.
The next phase of construction will happen quickly, with the northbound span expected to open by spring of next year. When complete, the new Howard Frankland will include 4 express lanes, 2 in each direction, as well as a 12-foot wide path for cyclists and pedestrians. We're live in Tampa this morning. Jason Lanning, Spectrum News.
Yeah, some really big plans ahead there still, Jason. Thank you. And again, that other portion is going to be demolished sometime next year. That's once the switch has been made and everything is completed there. So that'll be something we'll be monitoring as well. But, you know, Tim mentioned how this has been 5 years. 2020 is when this construction started. So it has been really neat kind of watching it all come together.
And we have another live look here from our Sky 9. Something we noticed when we were taking a look at this shot is how much wider that bridge is compared to the other two previous spans. And I can tell you from driving over the bridge, the hump is a lot more gradual, so it's not as it's a lot smoother going through.
And Tim's been talking a lot about, you know, the shoulders as well, right? And that'll help when crashes do happen. First responders will have, you know, more room there to respond.
Our team coverage of the Howard Frankland Bridge opening day continues in our next half hour. Josh Rojas takes a look back at the history of the bridge and how it got its name.
7:07 this morning, we're turning to hurricane recovery in the Bay Area. Pinellas County is asking residents for input on how to spend more than $800 million it received for storm relief.
The funds from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development can be used to rebuild homes and businesses, help people with rent, and more. People impacted by Hurricanes Idalia, Helene, and Milton could be eligible, and 70% of program funds are meant for low to moderate income households and areas. The Spice and Tea Exchange in Johns Pass was damaged by storm surge during Helene. Its business manager says he plans to apply for assistance if they qualify. He tells us he'd also like to see a priority placed on getting people back into their homes.
We were able to stay in our home because we live on the second and third floor. But a lot of people are in hotels, in apartments, and paying mortgage payments. Or they're in a situation where all the equity in their home is gone, and now all they can hope for is to sell the land.
At a February meeting, Pinellas commissioners were told public input will play a role in what programs are ultimately available. A survey is available online, and public meetings start next month.
Tampa will host its first meeting on the Homeowner Disaster Assistance Program today. We told you about that program when it opened yesterday. So residents can apply for up to $20,000 in storm relief. Today is going to be the first of 2 meetings where residents can learn more about the program directly from city leaders. That's happening at the Seminole Heights Garden Center from 3 to 7. And then the next meeting is on Thursday, and that one will be at the new Tampa Rec Center.
And coming up on 7:09, let's get another check of your weather on the 9s with meteorologist Julie Marquez, and she's taking a live look from the camera atop our studios, looking very nice out there and pretty.
Seeing a little bit of some light between some of the clouds this morning. Good morning. This is brought to you by Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries here in St. Petersburg, pointing the camera across the bay toward Tampa and trying to see if there were any low clouds or fog impacting the Howard Frankland Bridge. There has not been. That's good news, but it is certainly warm and humid. Almost everyone is in the upper 60s this morning. Now, the airport in Tampa is checking with 71 degrees. It's down to 64 right now in Newport Richey, Wesley Chapel, and Inverness. 60s in Bradenton and St. Petersburg. In areas like Sebring, also in the 60s this morning. 6 degrees warmer now in Clearwater compared to yesterday at this time. 13 degrees warmer in Citrus County. It's also more humid, so that's something you will definitely feel when you walk out the door this morning. The dew points that were so dry and comfortable and low over the weekend have gradually been creeping up. So we're now sitting with a dew point in the upper 60s. So we do have some fog to talk about. Visibility is 1 mile at Inverness, less than that Brooksville, Zephyr Hills, even parts of Hillsborough County, so an area near I-4, Mangaworth and Odessa. Watch for some low clouds or fog. Nothing major in Tampa Bay, but in Clearwater, we're starting to see a little bit of a drop in the visibility. Now, last night, Brian McClure was here watching Clystron 9 with a couple of showers moving in. This morning, I see some rain near Fort Myers and a thunderstorm at Vero Beach. So you can see all the thick clouds that we're going to have for the first part of the day today, and then we're going to get the clearing. We're going to have some afternoon sunshine. Today's rain chances are on the low side. A couple of isolated showers around Tampa. Better chance of rain Polk County eastward today. Tomorrow, a front moves in. Drier, and that means lower humidity to enjoy for Wednesday and Thursday. Today's high temperature approaching 80 degrees with decreasing clouds and a low rain chance. A little cooler by tomorrow morning, 50s and 60s, and tomorrow afternoon up to 84, mostly sunny skies for Wednesday. The weekend looks warm, will be more humid, but there's also a chance of rain on Sunday. I'll talk more about that coming up. Now we're going to go to Tim Ronka. He's been talking all about the new Howard Frankland Bridge, and we know it's taller, sturdier too, Tim, and some of that has to do with the weather, right?
It does, Julie, and I'm glad you asked me about that because I could talk about this topic for an hour with you. They definitely kept the hurricanes in mind when it came to building this new bridge. We all know what happened with the Howard Frankland this past storm season, where portions of the original northbound span were damaged. This bridge is built actually with a sturdier rock on the approaches of the bridge, so it should help with some of those washouts that we have seen during some of the storms that have moved through here. In addition, it is taller. It's sturdier, like you said, Julie, and keep in mind the other big thing, evacuations. There's going to be 4 new lanes on this bridge, in addition to the 4 lanes that opened this morning. Those are eventually going to be express lanes, and we do know that during major evacuations, the state typically suspends tolls. So that would be 4 new lanes that folks could use to get where they need to go during an evacuation. So not only is this an important thing for traffic and safety, but also for storms as well. So an important topic there, Julie, for sure. Let's go over to Sky 9. They are still up above here at the Howard Frankland Bridge, and so far they are keeping an eye on things, moving along really well. We now have a little bit more sunlight too, and as you can see, folks are making their way onto that new bridge, and southbound traffic is busy this morning. But so far, I'm not seeing any major delays. Again, all lanes opened up right at about 5:30 this morning, and this is just for that southbound span of 275. Northbound is unchanged. So again, just another reminder from FHP and FDOT, maybe give yourself an extra few minutes just so you navigate through those new lanes over there. Don't be taking any pictures of the new bridge or anything like that while you're driving. Keep your distance, and hopefully it'll be a safe drive for everyone here on this first day. I do want to go over to our real-time traffic maps. I'm keeping an eye on a slowdown on 275 southbound. This is going to be right at the top of your screen there, southbound right before Beers Avenue. That's due to an earlier crash. Other than that, pretty much a standard drive right now in Tampa Bay with delays building on 75 southbound and I-4 westbound. More on the rest of your commute coming up in just a few minutes, and this report brought to you by your Suncoast Hyundai dealers.